Funding for Chasing Frames is provided by Nikon and On1 Software.
I feel freaking nervous because they are coming so big and so fast. And, they stop inches from where I'm on the ground. So I can replace my gear, but I'd rather not replace my bones. Hi, I'm Tamara Lackey. I've traveled the world for the last 16 years as a professional photographer, photographing faces and documenting stories. Join me in our new series, Chasing Frames, where we learn from some incredibly inspiring people who work hard to transform lives, protect our planet, and rescue those in need. Sports can do a lot to bring communities together, but they can also do a lot of good for communities. Today we're on the campus of the University of North Carolina to shoot a high-profile game from under the basket and to speak to those who can share more. It seems like from what we've learned that UNC Athletics does a lot of good in the community. Can you tell us more about that?
So not only, you can think about the economic impact that it has to the town of Chapel Hill and Carrboro and the surrounding areas. I think the data from this past year, it's over $40 million in economic impact.
Wait, $40 million in economic impact to the community?
Boost to the community.
In 1 year?
In 1 year, just from the two biggest sports being football and men's basketball. So I think it brings value there, but it's also the outreach that many of our student athletes have to the community. UNC hospitals, and especially children's hospitals. Children's Hospital, a number of athletes that on a regular basis will go and visit children who are there for lengthy stays and just to lift their spirits, and the coaches as well.
It seems like there's a big focus on volunteer hours and giving back with the student athletes. How did that come about?
We have a great community service program. We have hundreds of students each year going over to the hospital, going over to any other organization in town. They've given over 5,000 hours of community service, just the student athletes, to the various charities in this community, and they love it. Football has gone to the hospital for 30 straight years.
Wow.
Our basketball program, they sign basketballs every year, and we sell those on our website. And all the money that's received from the basketball sales, they fund over $1 million into the various charities within the community.
Oh my
that
goodness.
Basketball distributes. So
every year?
Every year.
Wow.
It's been a remarkable program that Coach Williams started, and I think it's been great for the community. I think Coach Smith has really set the tone for how we operate as a university, how we operate as a department. That, if something good happens, it makes everybody better off. And you're all better off if you can help somebody that has no way to repay you. And I think that is a level of service that we strive for each and every day with our students.
What was it after Hurricane Florence? There was a couple big endeavors to help in this community. Can you tell us about some of those?
You're right. When you have a disaster like that, everybody wants to help, and there's a big rush to do something. And ironically, we had canceled a football game because of the hurricane,
right.
But we had an equipment truck that was available. So our football team wanted to do something. So we told the community, anybody that wanted to drop off canned goods or water or any supplies that some of the areas that are affected by the hurricane needed, to bring them here. We parked it right out front, and they loaded up the truck and took 2 truckloads down to families in need. And you never know what kind of background they come from. They may have been affected by a hurricane. They may have been affected by a tornado. They may have had somebody in their family that was lost to cancer, and that's why they want to volunteer at the hospital. So you never know what's motivating somebody, but the incredible spirit that our students have is really something that's motivating to all of us on our staff.
Tell us about the camp started by Eric.
Eric Montross, when he was a student here, he met a young person who was in the cancer hospital here. And he developed such a close personal relationship with him that was really meaningful and impactful to him. And for the last 25 years, he has sponsored a father-son camp with all the revenue from that camp going to the cancer hospital.
I would love to talk to you about the camp you started and all the amazing good that has come out of it.
We have a full house here. We use the main floor and we use the practice gymnasium. But the whole camp began because of a young man named Jason Clark. And Jason was a 15-year-old at the Children's Hospital who was battling Burkitt's lymphoma. It was an aggressive form of cancer. And he and I became fast friends, and he would give me scouting reports for ACC ball games on my upcoming opponents, and we would just talk and got to be buddies. And before he passed away, he gave us a list of ways that through a child's eye, he thought we could improve the Children's Hospital. He gave this list to his parents, and they then shared it with us, and that was how the camp was born, to attack this list and to accomplish these things in hopes that it would make it easier on the children and families who are treated at the hospital. There are a lot of kids who are treated in the university hospitals, and this university hospital is not just UNC's hospital. I think that's another thing to point out, is why we thought we could affect the state and the region. They treat kids from all 100 counties. They treat kids regardless of whether their families can pay for their care, and that was important to us. I think that another great example of the track and field team, they were up in Boston for a meet up at Boston College. This young man was being treated up at Boston Children's for a time. They got off the plane, went to his hospital room, spent the evening with him, and then competed the next day. Things you don't have to do, things that never cross the radar of the press, or I say never, but just great examples of generosity. It's life-changing for a lot of kids.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you'd like to see an extended episode, check out our website, where you will also find some tips and tricks on sports photography and ideas of what to do after you take your shot.